Next. What you want? We ain't got them in stock. I got a Bodie special for you, though. Alright. You want anything special on your burger? Alright, only tomatoes and ketchup? Alright. Alright. What you want to drink? You want Wawa or soda? Yeah, my water machine broke, so... Oh, wow. Alright, it's on the tray. $30. Yeah, no problem. Alright. You too, have an up and at 'em day. Next.
Alright, perfect. Looks good. I am going to put in the request to get you your proper roles within the government email chain, and everything should be good. Now go ahead and look over your SOPs while I go talk to Farrah over here. Right this way, Farrah. It is afternoon, isn't it? It's almost evening time, even. How are you doing? Oh, no. A boat is special. Interesting. Okay, let me look over my notes here. The water machine was broken, huh? So they only gave you soda? I feel like there's some sort of blowout sale or something, like they're trying to get rid of all their soda syrup. I see, okay. Okay, alright. Now then, I'm looking over the notes on the interview with you. How do you feel that the interview went for you? Pretty good. Yeah, it's okay if it's in a three-way, alright? It is a bit strange. It is a bit strange. I like it because it keeps people, the interviewees, on their toes a bit. Because, Dispatch very much is a teamwork-oriented game. In a way, we do kind of do solo things all the time because sometimes only one dispatch on duty. But when there is multiple, we like to work together because it makes things easier. And so it's also a way to kind of assess exactly how well you work with others, being able to bend and be flexible, but at the same time sort of right a ship that might have gone adrift, you know what I mean? To get things back into control. So overall, it's interesting, but sometimes it could be really fun as well.
Yeah.
All right.
It was very interesting. It was pretty entertaining. Yeah. I thought it went pretty
now,
well.
Unfortunately, though, you did get stabbed.
I did get stabbed, yes. That was on me, though, okay? I understand where I made that mistake. I pulled a gun on a man that was just clearly too close for that to be safe, and also dispatchers shouldn't have a gun anyway. I now know that.
Yep. It's very important to know that, even though we do work for the PD, have a very close relationship with them, we still are a separate department. And we are still considered civilians, even though we have access to PD thing. Very important to remember that and to recognize that, because we don't want dispatch heroes. We don't want dispatch to go, see something happen, a crime, and then they go try to interrupt it, trying to dispense justice or whatever, which,
right,
what's the right word? It endangers themselves, which causes more headaches for the police.
Yeah. Plus, it's their job to do that sort of thing anyway, the police.
Exactly. I can understand, heat of the moment, like let's say it's your buddy or something who's getting held up or something and you want to go save them. but that is not our job. So as long as you can recognize that, I have absolutely no problem offering you here a position in the dispatch department of the San Andreas Police Department. Should you so
yeah.
accept.
I would gladly accept, and I do accept the, the terms that I should rely instead on my radio communication capabilities to get the officers here if I'm in danger, instead of attempting to resolve that on my own, yes.
Wonderful. Sometimes they say the pen is mightier than the sword. And then for us, it really is the gift of the gab that can save us sometimes. It's all about that silver tongue, you know?
The righteousness of the radio.
Exactly. Okay, very good, very good. Remember, you are... Alright, this way, please follow me. We're going to go get your equipment. But also do remember that you are coming in as a trainee. Okay?
Right.
So you're coming in as the rank of trainee, which means no ride-alongs. And you should be focusing on getting trained in. I'm going to add you to a group chat with the other dispatchers. Ooh, I need to add that Maribel as well. And we're going to focus on your training. It's going to be a long process. Well, it honestly depends on how fast you are, but we do. Okay? So don't feel rushed. Don't feel like, oh, I got to understand and master this within, 2 or 3 days, or I'm going to get fired or let go or whatever. No, nothing like that at all. If you have any questions whatsoever, yeah. If you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to reach out. There's no dumb questions.
I probably
and there's
will.
also a lot of... Oh, yeah. Please do. Because there are going to be a lot of questions. There's even things I'm still learning about this job, even though I've been at it for like 5 months now. What the hell is this? There's a plant.
That is strange.
Anyways, talk to Officer Nancy here and ask her for a set of dispatch keys.
Nancy, I need a set of dispatch keys. Can you help me out? Oh, thank you, darling.
Perfect, right this way.
Suspicious person.
Yep, they happen all the time. Suspicious people, 1037 calls. They can come in the form of just a person, come in the form of a suspicious package. Ooh. Typically, when locals report it, it's in regards to like drug stuff. They saw a package being delivered that smelled really strongly, or they saw a man kind of do a handoff.
I see.
And now we are going to floor -1.
Boop.
This building is very confusing, so I welcome you to get lost in here just to kind of learn how to navigate it. Because each floor is slightly different from the others. Like we're on floor -1, which is different from floor 1, which is different from floor 2, which is different from floor 3, which is different from floor 4, which is of course different than floor -2, which is of course also different from floor -3. So it's just 4 and 5 are pretty similar, though. I will say that. By the way, in here is the cloakroom.
Oh.
If you ever wanted to get changed, there is. If you check your locker F1, you're gonna see there's enough clothing there for a clothing store, and enough hair products for a barber shop, in case you ever needed to do something like that, or change outfits.
I see. Honestly, I feel like this outfit's probably best anyway.
I'm not sure.
Is there some type of requirement?
Too much tummy.
Too much tummy for Los Santos? Alright.
We gotta stay at least somewhat business casual. We don't have to be so business, it can be more casual than business, but that might be too casual, not enough business.
I wouldn't want to
Although I
distract the
do like-
officers. I understand.
Exactly.
Should I go do that now? It would be pretty quick.
If you can.
All right.
I'm just gonna grab your equipment right now.
Oh, there you are.
Yep, here I am. Here you go. Take this and take this. That is your standard issue equipment. Now let us go back to floor number 2 to the cafe.
Cafe floor 2. Okay. Beep. So much crime going on out there.
It is a mess, so please have a seat, and I'm gonna quickly go over the very basics of dispatch.
Okay,
Just kind of scooch in wherever you can. If I need to move over, I can as well. I'm like directly in the middle.
I'll sit here.
Give me just 1 second. I see you already have your keys kind of set up there for, what was that, the radio and MDW?
Yes and no. I know what you're saying, but that's not what I was doing. I was pulling them out
I
of
see.
my
You're
pocket.
you're doing it through your inventory. You're looking through your pockets, manually pressing it. I get you.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna set up the proper key binds for everything. Because there's a lot of keys on those devices. We gotta bind them properly.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go into our devices. You know, we gotta set the key. We gotta bind the keys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm looking at this, device
So
right
the
now.
most- All right, good. The most important ones, let me know if you see them, are under the GOV, which is Open MDW and Open Dispatch.
Okay,
Go
let me
ahead
see.
and set those to whatever you're most comfortable with.
Wow, this dispatch monitor is very busy.
Yes, it is. But you're getting ahead. We gotta make sure all our keys are set. So do you have dispatch and MDW set?
Yes.
Alright, now we gotta go down, scroll to our radio. We gotta set those as well. There's a lot of radio buttons, but we don't need all of them. We need decrease radio volume and increase radio volume to start.
I might have those. Let me see.
And then do we also have open UI for the radio?
Would this be classified as just a regular radio?
As a regular one?
A regular radio. There's also like a job radio.
Yeah, just do normal radio.
Alright, I got
Not
that.
job, not secondary, not primary for now.
I got that.
If you want to set those, you can, but for the bare minimum, we just need increase radio volume, decrease radio volume, set something for open UI, and then let me know when you're that far.
I think I'm that far. What about transmit?
Alright. Like, that's the next one we're covering. The last few buttons, we need transmit on primary radio. Job radio, we don't need at all. Make that blank, or something else. We need transmit on primary, transmit on secondary, and then transmit on all PD radios. Make transmit on all PD radios something that's far away and awkward to press, because you don't want to accidentally press that. You will transmit to all active PD channels.
Alright.
Ah, very good. Have you ever used an MDW before?
I've read through these things, but I find myself getting lost inside of them.
Mm-hmm. Well, now it's going to be even more confusing. Let's open up the MDW. Making sure our keybinds work, of course.
Okay.
So if you click on search everything, like the bar itself, you're going to see a lot more options because as dispatch, we have a lot more tools available than the standard civilian. But this is how you would search profiles. This is how you would search incidents. Incidences are basically arrest reports. This is what the police use to give charges to people. And then civilian reports. This is what we mostly focus with. These are things like, you can read through some of the titles, missing persons report, an up and added shooting, stolen firearm, things like that.
This was me.
If you go to the three at the very top left, the three little lines, if you click that, this is how you actually create records into the MDW. You'll see things like new incident, new bench trial, new report, new bolo, so on and so forth. We don't care about any of these except for new report. These are how we make civilian reports. But we won't go over that right now. It's just so you understand just kind of how the MDW works. Searching for something, click the bar. If you want to make something, click the lines.
Alright, I
And then
understand.
And then incidents are what police use to give charges, reports are for the other things.
Okay.
Alright, now we get out of the MDW. We're done with that for now. Now we open up our dispatch, which you should see about 3 windows for.
Yes.
I'll explain how all of this works. The top left is our call cards. This is how we see what crime is currently active. A lot of these are like from the locals. They tell us what's happening. You'll see like 1060, carjacking in progress. It's a caddy. Likewise, you could go down a little bit more. You see a 1037, a suspicious person. Ooh. Another 1037, a suspicious person, which is in Fudge Lane. So certain crimes get reported automatically, some don't. Like for instance, if someone gets kidnapped, we don't see that get automatically reported. But if somebody shoots a gun, we'll see that typically. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The police use these cards to kind of see what's going on in the city. So let's say something does happen that's not recorded in this. Let's say, like I said, a kidnapping. you would hit the create call button. Go ahead and hit that at the top left.
Okay.
You get 4 fields: call type, description, set location, and priority. Call type, this will typically be the 10 code for kidnapping. And then the description is whatever you want to describe it. It can be as loosey-goosey as you want, but try to keep things compact. Otherwise, it stretches out everything and people get annoyed.
Understandable.
Then set location, currently marked map location. This is how you set that nice looking location in the other cards. Like you see how it says Westcoast Boulevard, GWC, and Golfing Society?
Yeah.
It takes the location you put a waypoint in on your GPS, and that's where it puts it. So let's say you wanted to make a call card because there's a crime at the DMV. You would set the waypoint at the DMV and then create the call card and hit the button.
Okay.
Priority is it basically tells you if it should make a noise or not when it's made. I don't think I explained this to you there, Maribel, but default priority, no sound. Medium priority, no sound. High priority, it makes a little beep beep beep, and then very high makes an even more like beep 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 beep.
And that
So it
beep,
draws
that's the house robbery sound, right?
Exactly. That's why I hope they get rid of it for house robberies, because they don't need them
They
anymore.
happen
I feel
a lot.
they happen a lot to the point where it's like people are ignoring it.
There's one now.
And that's what I mean by the beep, the beep, beep, beep.
Yeah, 1031.
So yeah, for the things that deserve beeping are things like 78's request, like let's say an officer is getting shot at a traffic stop. Yeah, we want people to notice that, so make it beep. If it's
Beep
very
on
high priority. If somebody, yeah,
Very
if it's something
high.
like, a traffic stop, if somebody's like, oh, I'm gonna give this guy a ticket for speeding, that card does not need to be beeping,
Right.
Anyways, back to our dispatch screen. Go ahead and click out of that box. And if you see, like, let's say you click one of the cards, you'll see you have options. The main important one is edit. Go ahead and click edit, and here you can change the description and channel and units. This is how you would assign a unit to a call, but we don't care too much about it, to be honest, but we'll go over that in training later. For description, this is where you can kind of just change anything. Like for instance, let's say that 1031 suspicious attempted entry into a house. I'm going to edit it very quick, and I'll just make it say test in addition to it. And you see how it tests, and how it changes, I mean.
Yeah.
But I'm going to fix that and put it back to normal. So don't feel like you have to get it perfect the first time. You can always just kind of put something on there so officers see it, and then go back and change it. Never touch the channel. The channel is broken. I think the idea is they wanted us to attach cards to channels. Like let's say a police chase moves to channel 2. The problem is we can't unattach channels. So once it gets attached, it's impossible to remove until like Tsunami, so we don't touch it.
Okay.
Anyways, bottom left, radio channels. This is where you see all active radio channels. You'll see the channel 1, main patrol. Channel 2 is just one guy by himself. Channel 6 is doctor radio. Channel 7 is Department of Corrections. Channel 69 is typically grapeseed radio. Channel -3 is highway patrol. And it's 7.5. I hate 7.5. It's not a nice whole number. But yes, there's a ton of radio channels. How do you make a radio channel? All you got to do is just join a channel. Like I made channel 3 right now. My call sign is D-01. So channel 3 exists.
I saw it.
And now it doesn't exist because I
It's gone.
got out of that channel. So that's why I said make that transmit all PD radios button very awkward and out of the way. You would only really ever use that if officer is down. Basically saying, I need everybody to, respond to this.
Okay.
And you don't want to accidentally press it when doing normal radio comms. Or when talking normally to people. Anyways, there's a bunch of numbers and letters next to each radio channel. That's who is on the radio. And those are all call signs, which I'll go over right now. Starting with the PD call signs, in other cities, typically it's only like a 3-digit number. It's like 312. Officer 312 is their call sign, which is, it sounds so nice. But no, we get a weird, monstrous thing. Most call signs, oops, I'm on PD Dispatch when I should be on Dispatch. Okay, there we go. Anyways, to explain call signs, we have 3 parts to it. The first part is always going to be a number. It goes from 1 to 3 and it corresponds to shift. So like Phoenix Zimmerman, he has 1 Echo 33. He is shift 1. Scroll down a little bit to Everett Paltrow. He is 2 F19. He is shift 2. If you scroll all the way down to Kason Michaels, 3H12, he is shift 3. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's a good way to see who's on what shift. Like right now we're in shift 2. So anybody who's 1 might be leaving soon. And anybody who's like shift 3, they might be entering soon. Or they're just here early. So like right now we should be seeing more 2s than 1s and 3s. Which we kind of are. Now we got a letter. The letter corresponds to department. So like Phoenix Zimmerman, 1 Echo 33. The E stands for non-solo cadet. These people are just cadets, but they're non-solo. Everett Paltrow, 2 F19. He is a solo cadet. So E's and F's, they're cadets, but it depends on if they're solo or not. Then we go to Kip. I'm not going to say his last name because I can't. I sound like a baby when I do. 1 Juliet 08. The J for Juliet stands for LSPD, the city cops, blue uniforms. I know it doesn't really make sense, but they're J's. Okay. Do we have an I on duty? I don't think we do. That's interesting. The I's, if you see somebody with an I, they're LSSD. They're the sheriff. They're the deputies. And they're like the tan uniform, those cops. So if they have an I, they're like a sheriff. From there, we go into people with rank. If you see an S, that means they're a sergeant. If you see an L, like Harold Stockherdwell, he is a lieutenant. I don't think we have any captains or chief of police or anything like that, but yep. I forgot to keep skipping ahead. I keep doing this. Farrah?
Yes.
If you were to have, let's say, a name for your email, what would it be?
For my email?
Yeah, if I wanted to send you an email, what would your name be? An online name, so to speak.
Huh. I gotta type it out for you, I guess.
Please do.
I don't know why I call myself this, but... yeah, I don't know.
Okay, I need you to go into Community General and just say hello.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, there we go. I just sent you a couple of things. One of them is going to be our copy of our SOPs. They need to be cleaned up a little bit. Some of the wordage might be a bit weird, but the spirit is good. These were taken from a closet we found in the corner here. Cobwebs and dust all over it. Hasn't been opened since maybe 1985. And then we got a link to our government email chain. Ooh. Inside it, I need you to click into it. Very important. You're going to see that it is an email chain that has a whole lot of nothing. I need to properly request you get the right role, so that'll take a little bit of time. Inside the SOPs, if you scroll all the way down, you can see our 10 codes and things like that. And also our department prefixes.
Okay, I see.
Okay, very good. Anyways, so you can see our prefixes there for anything that doesn't show up. W's are typically our detective units. Kate McNamara, Veronica Wilson. They don't like to use the shift prefix because they want to be special. I'll let them. And then the last 2 digits are the identifier digits. They don't mean anything. It's just their identifier number.
Wait, which page is the prefixes description?
It should be at the very bottom. It's next to the call signs, I think, or below it. I'm not sure. They should be in there. Please let me know if they aren't. It should also have a copy of our phonetic alphabet. So when I say 2 Echo 08 or whatever, that means 2E.
Okay, I see. Yes. Delta Echo Foxtrot, so on.
Yes, exactly.
Do the police use this separate one or no?
Sometimes. As long as the police know what. Sometimes the police just use random words, as long as it makes sense. Let's say someone calls out a license plate, and they say, all right, give me the license plate. What's the first letter? Instead of saying E, they might say echo. Or they might say something like, I don't know, edge.
Elephant. Okay.
Exactly. Bad police officers are ones who are just trying to cause chaos. They might say, all right, what's the first letter? And then they'll respond with pterodactyl.
Good God.
Right, so...
and that's P, right?
that is P, unless they mean T, but do they know that?
I wouldn't know if they knew that.
So that's why these words are typically chosen, because there's no confusion about them. Anyways, back to our dispatch. At the top right of the third window, click into police and hit dispatch. Now you should see only 3 names, which should be the 3 of us. Do you see them?
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure you've noticed, but different names have different colors next to them. That corresponds to their status, which corresponds to certain 10 codes, which are 10-6, 10-7, 10-8. 10-8 is probably, if you were to hear of a 10 code before, it might be 10-8. 10-8 typically stands for available. So if you're 10-8, you're green. If you're 10-7, which means you're busy, you're red. And if you're busy unless it's urgent, you're 10-6. So go ahead and just change your status to anything else if you want to see it. You do that by clicking your name and then set 10-6, 10-7, 10-8.
Okay.
And if you noticed where it says active dispatch 0 at the very top there in the middle, it used to be active dispatch 1, but because you put yourself 10-7, now we have no active dispatchers.
I see.
Which as trainees, you should put yourself 10-7 or 10-6, just because we don't want police to rely on you just yet. You're just here for training.
Okay.
And then I'm busy because I'm doing training, so I can't really do many dispatch duties. Does this all make sense?
Hey, so far so good.
Alright, now go ahead and click your name, and where it says assign to unit, click that. It's going to pop up a window that says unit. Put in my call sign, which is D-01. And yep, and you're going to see that it made a whole different new row here. But both of us are underneath it. If you try to click your name to set yourself 10-8, you'll see that you don't have that option. But if you click the new guy who was made, you can set him to 10-8. Which changes everybody in that group.
Okay.
So whenever anyone says on the radio, like, show, 2 Delta or 2 Echo 98 operating under, 1 Juliet 49, that's typically what they're asking for. They're asking for them to be put under that other guy's call sign.
Okay, yeah, I understand.
And then we just disband the unit because we don't need that anymore. I'm setting myself back 10-7. And that is a very crash course to dispatch. The last thing we need to do is set your own call sign. I'm sure you've noticed you're N/A.
Yeah.
So your call sign format's going to follow the same as Maribel here, which is D-F-identifying number. There are a lot of numbers that are claimed already. I'm not going to list what's available because there's still a lot available, so just
Just pick one at random.
if you have a favorite number, you can. If it's a very common favorite number, it's probably going to be taken, but yeah.
I don't know, maybe like 11 and 19 or something.
Both taken.
Huh. How high did these numbers go?
Up to 99.
Huh. A lot of numbers to choose from.
Yeah, they are, but just try your best. What do you got for me?
How about 29?
29 is not taken.
That's funny.
Okay.
I was gonna suggest 29.
So go
Well,
ahead
there
and just
you
set your
go.
call sign to D-F-29. Okay, perfect. And now let's go over radio. This is very short and sweet. Open up your radio. And you'll see that you have 2 channels available to them.
That's right. I have not done this.
Okay.
You too, Maribel. I see ya. To turn on the radio, just hit the red button. It turns it green. And then you just type in the channel you want to be in. Then once you hit enter, it'll put you into that channel.
Alright, what channel do I want to be in?
Channel 1 is always main patrol. It's quiet right now. No one's talking on
Try to
channel.
get a unit to call out to stick with, I think that's James Tusk. Stick with him and gather his
there you
team
go,
at the
see?
hospital.
Yeah, I hear it. James Tusk.
By the way, if you think about your HUD, HUD, you can actually set what channel, like if your primary or your
Highway
secondary
12
goes
can
out
sit
your
with
left
James
or
Tusk.
right here,
Oh, that's
in case you want to have both active at the same time. Some people do. They'll have like primary radio, channel 1 on your left ear, and then channel 6, doctor radio on the right. It's an option.
Okay. I think I'll worry about that later.
Alright, that is fair.
Highway 1276, Mount Zona 147.
Okay. Sorry, I had to answer a text. Give me a second to kind of collect my throat. I just went over this the spiel twice in a row already. If you want to listen to the radio, you can. Just try not to speak, since, you know, training and all that. But you can listen in. I am gonna be right back, Shanita.
Alrighty, take your time. A lot of information for me to go through here, anyway.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of reading. It's nice.
I think I'll learn better by just, example, I guess, you know?
Observant. I'm the same way. I'm very much a
Trial. Trial by fire.
No trial by fire.
I'm just joking.
Okay. Typically, when I do training, I do it in a scheduled way. Because unfortunately, at this time, I'm very busy outside the city and got a lot of responsibilities, and they suck. But before I do go, if you guys are still willing, we can move on to going over 10 codes, to kind of explaining those. But also, I added you both to the group chat. You both received it, right?
Yeah.
So you can kind of just talk to the people there if you want to see who's on duty. As well as you can always check the City Hall app. In fact, if you check the City Hall app right now, you're going to see your names and your numbers under dispatch. I would set yourselves to busy so people don't call you, asking for dispatch-related things.
Right.
But you can also check it to see who's on duty. The other people who are eligible for training, it would be Dodge Bishop, Vinnie Mac. I can't remember his last name. It's Blake.
Oh yes, Mr. Blake. That's who I spoke with at the job fair.
Blake Johnson, there we go. Yes, Blake. Good guy. They can give you training for sure. Anybody else is currently not cleared. So if you see them on duty, you can always shoot them a text, or be like in the group chat, be like, hey, you know, Dodge, do you mind if I shadow you or get some training from you? They'll most certainly say yes, because they've been instructed that they're to be helping with training.
Okay.
But if you want to do training with me, like let's say you're around shift 2, because that's when I'm around typically, just send me a text, be like, hey, I want to do a shift in shift 2, which is the worst shift, by the way. And just when can we do training, and then we'll organize something. Likewise, if you want to do the same with the others, like Blake for shift 3, Dodge for early shift 1, and then Vinny for late shift 1, early shift 2, depending on what your availability is, you know?
All right.
Okay. Are you guys wanting to go over 10 codes so you understand what they mean when they're being used?
Sure.
Absolutely. I mean, I've got the list here that's in the SOPs. Looks pretty comprehensive as well. But is there more outside of that?
There's nothing more outside of it. I'd just like to go over them because you both are new to this sort of thing. I like to explain them. So and basically typical use cases because you'll hear it over the radio, and I don't want you to be too confused by what the context can be. And sometimes they don't even say the 10 pot. They'll just say, you know, like, we need 52s over at, you know, Great Ocean Highway. And you're like, 52s? Oh, the 10 code. They don't say like 1052.
Right.
Sometimes they do. They don't say the 10 pot. Sometimes they say the 10 pot, sometimes they don't. Just so you're not kind of caught unawares. Okay, so starting at the very beginning, if we're both following along with our lists, I'm really gonna only go over the call signs that are most commonly used,
Foxtrot
both
2176 BPD,
by
evidence
PD and
processing.
dispatch. And I am turning off the radio because I don't want that to interrupt me and what I'm thinking. So first things first. Actually, we'll just start with the codes in case people use the codes. It's very... We'll personally never use codes, but it's good to understand what officers are saying. So codes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Routine call, that's a code 1. No lights or sirens, also called a silent run. If somebody says, I'm, you know, on my way to a crime, code 1, it means they're trying to come in as quietly as possible, not to scare the people. Typically like drug calls, right? Like, let's say there's people, you know, drug dealing on the beach. You don't want to go in lights and sirens because they'll hear that blocks away and then start to scatter like roaches. So they'll go in code 1. Sometimes things are code 2, which is urgent, lights, but no sirens. It could be something like a 77 request. Like, you know, something like somebody's asking for backup. I need an officer here immediately. They'll put on their lights so they can go through the lights, but no sirens. And then code 3 is emergency. Oh no, officer's being shot down. We need you here immediately. All right, light them up. Emergency. And then once everything is handled, that's code 4. So they'll say something over the radio like, all right, the scene is code 4. Or this, you know, like this 1060 is code 4. Something like that. Basically just saying, whatever's happening, it's all in the clear. EMS can roll in. There's no more danger. That's basically what they're saying. There's no more danger when it's code 4. Code 5 is a stakeout. Let's say drug dealers on the beach again. Somebody might just be like, oh, I'm gonna be code 5 over by the pier, just overlooking them, waiting for them to actually do the deal. And then code 6 is investigation. It says out of the vehicle, but code 6 can also be inside the vehicle. Like, let's say there's a car chase, they get lost inside the Vinewood Hills, you know, twists and turns and small alleyways and all that. They might just still drive around the area code 6 and looking for that missing vehicle. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Alright, those are typically easy peasy. The one you'll hear the most is code 4. And that is when EMS are allowed to roll in. Technically the scene is not over just yet, but it should be safe enough for them to go do medical and do their job. Okay, and then we go into 10-2. 10-2 is loud and clear. Typically, people will go on the radio and they'll say something like, radio check. And if they do come in loud and clear, you say, 10-2, 10-2, 10-2, 10-2. Everybody says it, so just join in. If they are not loud and clear, you do not say 10-1. I mean, technically you can, but this PD, we also use a lot of plain speak. Just tell them what's wrong with their radio, you know? Just be like, oh, your voice is very choppy, or your voice is really low, or you sound like a robot, you know, so on and so forth. Just tell them what they need so they can fix it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I would want, so.
Exactly. But if anyone is on the radio and they go 10-2, I mean, radio check, they're asking for a 10-2. Not a 10-4, just a 10-2. 10-3, 10-3 is the equivalent of shut up. If somebody's yapping on the radio, blah, 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 yap, 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 yap. But something important is happening and you need the radio, You say 10-3. And 10-3 has a bit of a stigma to it. It is like saying shut up, so people's feelings sometimes can get hurt if misused. So make sure that if you're 10-3 in somebody, it's because something important is happening. All right? Like, let's say radio comms are happening. Somebody's kidnapped. Like, oh no, somebody got kidnapped from the bank. And then you ask, all right, what's the location? What's the last known location of the victim? But then somebody comes in and says, hey, did you hear that Up and Atom is selling a fire starter, but it's going to be super cheap right now. It's on sale. Exactly. Exact 10-3.
Okay.
And then 10-4. 10-4 is just acknowledgement. It can be like, it just means that you acknowledge what's being said. Doesn't mean you agree with it. It doesn't mean you're going to do it. It just means you acknowledge that the statement has happened. So it can be like an order. I need, dispatch, I need you to, flag a plate for me. All right, 10-4. Or I'm going to go check out and investigate the Vinewood Hills for that missing drug dealer. All right, 10-4. You got it? So 10-4 honestly can be worked for a lot of communication. Like, let's say somebody says, dispatch, show 2 Echo 98, 76 to VPD with 195. The response to that can just simply be
21 responding 1031 for him. I have an additional 77 that can come.
From there, we go 10-6, 10-7, 10-8, which is the ones we've already kind of covered. Busy unless urgent, out of service, in service. I don't think I covered this exactly quite with you. Busy unless urgent means something like a typical crime. Like, let's say traffic stop. That's a 10-6. Car chase, that's a 10-6. Investigating something, 10-6. 10-7 is when you're out of service. This can be something like, I'm in court, or my vehicle is being worked on, so I'm literally like out of service. The difference is, if something really important happens, let's say officer involved shooting, you're supposed to drop what you're doing and go to that call. That's when you're 10-6. But if you literally can't, let's say you're in court, you're summoned to court, you have to do court things, well, then you can't just go to the officer, because you can't just tell the court to wait, 5 minutes for me to go save an officer. Likewise, if your vehicle is getting repaired, you'll typically 10-7 for that, because if the mechanics are working on your vehicle, you can't just get in the car and drive away, because your car is also out of service. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then 10-8 in service just means you're available. Doesn't mean you're on a call. You're kind of just roaming around doing your thing. You're available. So, like, sometimes people will ask, is there any 10-8 units who can respond to the carjacking or whatever? That's typically how you'd hear the radio comms go. 10-9 just means repeat. Do not be afraid to use this one. This one just means repeat last transmission. So let's say somebody gets on the radio and they're like, dispatch, I need you to... 10-9? Yeah, dispatch, I need you to flag a plate. Oh, okay, I could do that. Things like that. So 10-9's repeat. There's no stigma to this. Feel free to have people 10-9. It might be a little awkward if you ask them to 10-9 5 times in a row, but it is what it is.
So only do that to the officers that annoy us. Got it. Of course.
10-10's fight in progress. We don't care too much about it. 10-11 assault. Don't care too much. 10-12 standby. Don't care too much about that. 10-13s and 14s. Officer down and medics down. The 13s is when you hear the radio go beep, 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 beep. And this is the officer down. This is when you're like all hands on deck. We need everybody to respond. These come in 2 flavors, alphas and betas. So a 10-13 alpha is when an officer is shot down and they need immediate evac.
1031 group.
So this would be something like, you'll hear that happen, you'll see the card. But 10-13 bravos, this is typically if an officer has like an accident, like they're horsing around or something and they take a big fall and they're like, oopsie daisy, but they're not in danger or anything. They'll 13 bravo and it's no big deal. Like somebody will go get them. But it's not like we need everybody to respond to the guy who tripped over themselves. No, nothing like that. Okay. And then the same thing goes for medics. If it's a 14 alpha, medic is in trouble, everybody needs to save them. If it's a 14 bravo, it means search and rescue fell down a mountain. 20, advised location. That just asking for somebody's 20 is just saying, where are you right now? And the typical comp for this will be like, they'll say somebody's name, typically, or a call sign, and then ask for their 20. I'll be like, dispatch, what's your 20? Oh, we're in the VPD cafe, 2nd floor. Things like that. Or what's the 20 of that, house robbery? Oh, it's over there on Fudge Lane. Things like that. So if anyone ever asks for a 20, that's what they mean. They're not going to say 1020. Sometimes they will, maybe. But most of the time, they just go, what's your 20? 22 is disregard. Let's say you start talking on the radio, but then whatever happens resolves itself, or it's not relevant anymore. You just say, oh, never mind, 22. Oh, that's all you got to say. Not 1022, just say 22. 23 is what cops will use when they're on scene. They'll be like, this is, 2 Juliet 49. Show me 23 at the latest carjacking. That just means they're on scene. Like, they literally just showed up.
And are they talking to us when they say that? Like dispatch?
Yes.
Okay.
Typically, they're talking to dispatcher. They're talking to everybody on radio. The way dispatch should work, the way radio should work is officers should be telling us all of their status updates. They should be telling us when they arrive on scene, when they're heading to a scene, when they're leaving a scene, so that we kind of have an idea of what's going on with them.
Okay.
That's how it should work. Does it work like that in practice? Sometimes. It depends on the officer. It depends what's happening.
But when they say show me, they're talking to us.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so when they say show me, typically what you have to do for that part is nothing real. I think of it like flavor in a way. They're just kind of spicing it up. But if they're also saying, show me at the whatever, you can also assign them to the card. Like if you open up dispatch, pick one of the cards to edit, you can assign units to a card. And if you do, if they say show me at, the suspicious person delivering packages, you would add their call sign to that card. And that attaches them to the card. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just figured, if they're saying show me, this, then they're asking us to actually update this dispatch monitor here.
Mm-hmm. Yep. In this city, we don't stress too much about actually attaching units to cards. So you don't have to, honestly.
Question.
But it is good practice if you can. What was that? I'm sorry?
Apply to map. Does that just export that data to my GPS, like the locations of those things, or what is the apply to map?
I've never actually clicked that button.
Should I try and see what happens?
She clicks it right now. I don't know what chain.
Let's see.
Because typically, if it's a
I think
what
maybe it put those cards on my map because I've got little you see all those suspicious packages? Yep, yeah, it's marking those on my map. So I just got that location for that house, that one that just popped up is a little glass on my map.
Wait, those weren't always there for you? Because for me, they always show up on the map.
Really?
Do they show up for you over here, Farrah? Like if you open up your GPS, do you see a bunch of little disguised faces in the Vinewood Hills?
Yeah, I see a bunch of 1037 icons, and I did not click that button.
So maybe it doesn't do anything then.
Maybe it doesn't do for now. Maybe
I just got excited.
No, you're fine.
Surely it does something.
Maybe
in the future,
Or maybe we're not using it right. Who knows? Anyways, 1027, 28, 29. We don't use those. 31. We hear those. It's the house robberies. 32s are individuals with firearms. If anybody's sort of brandishing, that's when you would use this for brandish. Let's say, somebody's like, help, there's a gunman at the bank. Has he shot anyone yet? No, he hasn't. He just has the gun out. That's a 32. That's not a 71. 71 is shots fired. Shots haven't been fired yet. But if there's a menacing man with a gun, open carrying, that's a 32. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
33 is red. It's an emergency. I have no idea, honestly, what this is used for. I've never seen it come up in dispatch. I've never heard an officer use it. I don't know. 37 is suspicious person / vehicle / parcel. I think I've kind of explained this to both of you. It's just typically drug-related things. But it can also just be a suspicious person, like 911 call. Let's say somebody calls 911, says, there's a really weird man here at the Up and Atom who refuses to leave, and I think he's doing something, but we don't know what. That's a 37 call, even though it might not be drug-related. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So if somebody called and reported this suspicious person, then our job or task would be to make a card just for this incident type of thing?
Yes, because this would be something not covered by locals. Whatever's not covered by locals, we gotta cover ourselves.
Okay. Just making
from
sure
there
I
we
understand the actual,
No, please ask
task
all
at
the questions
hand,
you'd
yeah.
like. Exactly. No, please ask questions. I have all the answers. I have most of the answers. And I want to make sure everybody kind of understands, not just nodding along. So if you do have questions, please speak up. 1038 is a traffic stop. This is probably one of the most common comms you're ever going to hear. A traffic stop could just be, that officer that tailed somebody. And when they call it in, that's a 1038. They'll be like, show, 2 Juliet 49 out here with a 1038. It's a red in color Panto, 2 times occupied off of Alta Street. Or something like that. That's typically the format how it goes. They'll say that it's a 1038, or they'll say I got something, here off by. They'll typically give us the color and make of the model of car, how many occupants, and then location. And these do not show up automatically by local, so we have to make these cards.
Okay. That's good to know.
These typically, when you first start, these are kind of hard to make because you just need to get into the flow of it, the template. But after a while, they do become easy. Like, I'm gonna test card right now. Let's say somebody called in 1038.
Two items, 1041.
Welcome
Howdy.
aboard.
Right, somebody called in 1038 test card, and they say it's a red in color rep. Oh, hold on, let me pick a location. Yeah, red in color rebel, 2 times occupied on
41, 10.
Spanish and Alta.
And the call type would be like test 1038, and then the information that you give, right?
So obviously you wouldn't put that test train in. That's what took most of my time. But it would just be 1038, then Red Rebel, 2 times occupied, Alta Street in Spanish. And that's because I went into the GPS, put a little marker. Actually, we'll do this. We'll use that one actually right now. So Maribel, go into your GPS. Click on the DMV over on Vespucci and Straw. Put your GPS there and then update the card that I just made. And update the location.
Sorry, which location did you want me to go to?
The DMV. Yeah, put a GPS marker on the DMV, and then after you're done, go to edit call or edit the call of the test training one, and just click the box, and that's it. Update and submit. Yep, and then you'll see it change there, right? Strawberry Avenue, Vespucci Boulevard.
Easy peasy. That is very good to know. Okay.
So Farrah, you do it too. Put your GPS location to here, actually. No, actually not here. Put it at the bank. Marathon Avenue, North Rockford. The little line. And then up top. So when they give you a location, just look for the location on the map and you don't have to type it all out. Because if they give you something like Strawberry Avenue and Vespucci, typing all that out is going to take so long when it's so easy to go over there and click it.
Is shorthand acceptable in that case if sometimes
Yes.
I have trouble, like, I'm still very new to the city, you know, so sometimes it might be easier for me to shorthand those.
Mm-hmm. Prosperity Street in Del Perro? Yep. So like, for instance, I said it was 2 times occupied, but I put 2x OCC.
Yeah.
So shorthand works for locations. It also works for things like this. As long as it makes sense and it's kind of standard, like officers understand what 2 times OCC is. But if for Red Rebel, I just put RR, they might not know what that means.
Right.
But if I said, let's say it was a red Fusillade, and I just put, red Fusi, they might understand what that means.
Okay.
So it just kind of, you gotta kind of read the active police force and see if they would understand that or not.
Absolutely. I think I should have no problem. I just wanted to make sure, like, if it was like strawberry or whatever, right, and I can't find it on the map, I can just do like STRWBY, right? Like, and
So,
people will get it.
My tip I would give is, especially when you're learning the map, if you hear like a road name or something, let's say that you heard Strawberry, but you didn't quite get the cross section, because if you look at Strawberry, it's actually pretty long. It can cross at San Andreas, it can cross at, Swiss Street, cross at Adam's Apple, cross at, Capitol, cross at, a bunch of other places. Look for where there's an officer at on Strawberry, and then just guess. Just click on the officer and be like, oh, this officer's on Strawberry, so it must be this one.
That makes sense. Okay.
Because if you look on the GPS, you can see where all our officers are at.
Poppy, where'd you go?
All right, anyways, that is a 1038 call. And then we'll practice doing call cards from scratch. Like I said, it's difficult at first, but once you get into the rhythm of it, it's just very simple. Like, oh, it's color, car, how many people are in there. So it's, 3X or number X, OCC, then find the location on the map. 1041 on duty, 1042 off duty. Typically what happens, and you can do this too as dispatch, is people will say their call sign and saying they're 1041. They'll be like, Delta 01, 41, 108. Just saying I am 41 and I am available. Or they might say, oh, I'm, show me 41, but I am 10-7 because I'm doing meetings only. Or training.
And we
And-
take care of making sure that they are marked correctly in our dispatching, right?
Yes. If they don't do it themselves, we have to do it if they let us know. If they don't let you know, if they just say, hey, I'm 41, leave them as is.
I'm in an active 80 with a fuse.
The typical response, though, people say over the radio back is,
White Fusillade occupied
welcome aboard.
It's taken off. Northbound, Davis.
Or, if you're a bit more familiar with them and they're more like friendly, you can say, good morning. So if, let's say I was to be, Delta 01, show me 40, or dispatch, show Delta 01 41, you could say, welcome aboard. And that's it.
Currently westbound Strawberry. Not sure
You don't
how
have
long
to,
ago.
like I said,
Dick
it's not
on
a
it,
requirement,
but,
it's not a gun to your head. Now, welcome them aboard. No, you just...
Origin is the house robberies. Currently
yes,
holding
exactly,
a coffee
it's the
table in the driver's
camaraderie.
seat.
Welcome aboard or
Drive
good
going into an
morning.
alleyway.
Likewise with 42, when they go
NP.
off duty, they'll be like, dispatch, show Delta 01, going 42. You can say, thank you for your service.
Now northbound
or,
Carson.
good night.
Westbound
Okay.
Innocence.
And can
And
we say
typically
that
you
we're
can hear
going 42?
Like we're heading over
Yeah,
to
you say yeah.
BPD.
Foxtrot 29,
Then you would just talk. You would talk to
1042.
dispatch, even if you're
North
the only
Innocence.
dispatch on duty.
Gonna be on
Let's say
Slade
you're the
here
only
shortly.
dispatch on duty.
Southbound
You could just
Slade.
say dispatch, show
Cutting through the
Delta F29 going 42
Northbound Del Perro.
And we'll say that on the main channel when we.
on the main channel. Yes.
Okay. So we do.
I mean,
go
obviously, if
Right,
nothing else is
Rockford.
going on.
Now east
Well,
into
right.
the parking lot,
Yeah, very quick
passing
and
Lindsay
easy.
Circus gas station, northbound.
Okay.
Likewise, if you hear anyone else going, yeah, you just camaraderie if you want. You'll hear other people say it too.
North Decker Street.
Right now there's an active 80 going on. Would we make a card for that as well? A pursuit chase?
Yes.
Movie Star Way.
Okay.
Like for instance, that's not covered by local, so 80s would be over the radio as well. Like, oh, that's what we make a call card for. For that, we don't need a location
Now
because
south.
80s go all over the
North
map more or less.
Highway 1276.
So you would just say
Or-
like,
It is a white and color fusillade occupied one time. South
A
Dorset,
white and
passing
color
the
fusillade
hospital.
occupied 1 times. We put that
South
information.
Los Lagunas. Looks like he's taking the jump onto the highway, almost killed
I
somebody.
remember when I was chatting with Vinny a little bit, and he was saying,
you said one
put
time's
the-
occupied?
Off ramp
Yeah.
from Olympic.
White and color
Um,
fusillade.
boom, done,
Correction.
easy. White fusillade, one
Yeah,
time's
no, it is
occupied.
Olympic. We're southbound. up
Okay.
What were you saying about Vinny?
Taking the red garage jump.
I
made it.
He was keeping me company while
Two.
I was waiting on you the other day, and we
Out onto
got chatting a lot about. He kind of trained me up a little bit on these,
Vespucci
and he was
Boulevard,
telling me
now
about
northbound
how
People
whenever
Street.
we put in the cards for the 1038s, is that they often turn into 1080s, and that once you put the
Northbound Los
1038
Lagunas.
in, if it does turn into a 1080, we would just edit that 1038 and change it to a 1080, right? And
Highway
update
12
it. Is
secondary
that correct?
Yes.
northbound Leslie
Okay.
Exactly.
And then just kind of when you're like listening in, like
suspects on the phone,
it's okay to
reversing
maybe like include
U-turn,
heading
southbound
northbound or
Leslie
something like that, or should we leave
You can
things
hold
like
a
that
bar in
out
the
of
city.
it?
10-4, yeah.
You
Was
can
my
if you have those details.
Just by like
Uh,
listening,
Yeah. If you listen to the radio, I don't know if you're on the radio now. I'm not on the radio.
I have it off current.
Continuing eastbound lower San Andreas.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead
have
and listen
it
to
very
channel
low.
1. Just turn on channel 1 for now, and you'll hear just how the radio comms work.
Slowing. Right. There's going straight across eastbound. San Andreas.
I had it on earlier, but I get
Crossing Center Street. Right southbound Center.
Overwhelmed?
Passing MRPD. Right westbound to Atlee.
not overwhelmed, but
Strawberry.
I hyperfixate
Left
very
southbound
easily,
Strawberry.
and like
Crossing Vespucci.
go galaxy brain and sort of
Continuing southbound Strawberry. Under
don't
Olympic.
interact as well because I'm absorbing
Pass
everything,
some more.
if that makes sense.
Yeah. We're just
That
gonna
way
listen for a little bit,
Strawberry Ave.
Feel free to pass on my left here.
but just so you kind of understand how police comms work.
Southbound Strawberry Avenue.
Oh my god.
Vehicle 50.
Oh, we haven't covered that one yet.
I know that
That's
one.
a-
Those
flipped
reversing
vehicle.
doing circles.
Think
Continuing southbound Grove Street.
Yeah.
Between
Now-
primary for a moment.
Other people
A
can
firm.
hear these
Doing southbound
radios,
Grove
right?
Street. Slowing left
Just
eastbound cover.
us through our earphones.
Yeah,
Correction.
There's
Road.
no like echo. It's not speakers.
Good, good.
Approaching Carson
the beeping,
Avenue.
though.
Vehicles going low speeds. Right southbound Carson.
People
Jim
do
Roy
hear the
Lowenstein.
beeping, don't they?
Right southbound.
I know
People
it.
hear the beeping, just the beeping, but that's it.
Southbound towards Jamestown.
Is there a way to
Street.
make it so they don't hear that?
Left eastbound Jamestown VCB. Continuing eastbound Jamestown.
Is it just signing out and then
I
they don't hear?
honestly don't.
I
I
don't
honestly
think
don't know.
Crossing McDonald.
I-
continuing
That might be
eastbound.
something that they need
Right,
to
eastbound
set,
Innocence
if
VCB.
that makes sense.
Currently eastbound Innocent.
Okay, I mean, I'm considering
So-
like if I go
Eastbound, stand by,
to up
taking
and
a
at
right,
'em,
south,
all
on
of a sudden
Popular.
I'm beeping.
Until secondary,
All of a sudden
southbound
this
Public.
den of evil knows
Approaching
I'm working
El
for the
Rancho Boulevard.
police. You know, they want to kill me.
Crossing
I've
El Rancho
honestly never had a
Boulevard,
problem
right
with up and
westbound
at 'em, and
El
I've gone
Rancho.
there in headset and everything.
All right.
Maintaining westbound
So I
El
guess as
Rancho.
long as you're not,
Right, northbound.
like I said, as long as you're not being like a vigilante where you're like
+1 responding to your 1080.
antagonizing
Continuing
people
northbound
and
Jamestown
they should leave you
Central
alone.
Westbound McDonald.
Just say the beeping is like an alarm you set for something, right? Makes
Right.
Southbound,
It's my
we're
watch.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
shit.
a lot of people know what that
Southbound.
beeping is. They hear the beeping
Eastbound
and they're
Park.
like, "Ah, gotcha.
Right, southbound
Honestly, if you don't
Jamestown.
acknowledge it, they might not
Vehicle
know it's coming
50,
from.
U-turn,
They might not know who it's
westbound
coming
Park.
from.
What beeping? Are you
Westbound
okay?
through
Did you see the
alleyways,
doctor?
approaching Dutch London VCB.
Man, we're the only two people in this restaurant. What do you mean?
Go north.
Right, northbound, we're Lone.
But anyways,
northbound, we're Lonestein.
I'll
you can turn off the radio now.
Eastbound Carson.
But yeah, that's how
taking the
comms kind of
bridge.
work. They already do the
Eastbound,
northbound,
parallel
southbound,
Jamestown,
eastbound on
slowing,
their own.
Left, northbound, we're down the right, northbound through alley.
So we can add it to begin with, especially if there's no one else on the chase.
Right, eastbound into
To help officers understand where to start
southbound
heading.
Jamestown. Vehicles stuck in the
But
area might be looking for
not super necessary.
southbound
they're
Jamestown,
pretty
right,
on it.
westbound through alley.
Yeah, because they're constantly updating on the radio
Down the street,
what
crossing
channel to go
McDonald's.
to.
That particular
likewise-
one sounded like it started out as an 80, so it didn't actually
Looks like it's looking for
involve a
place to
traffic
pick
stop.
up. Continuing westbound,
They just
Mhm.
kept driving.
approaching Dutch London.
Sometimes that happens.
Right, westbound.
Like they'll try to
right,
pull someone over
northbound,
for
right
a
on
speeding,
the
you know,
train track.
but they never actually pull over, so it just goes straight into an 80.
Doubled up.
We're
Yeah.
doubled up, yeah.
In this case, honestly, because this is channel, there's
And
3
northbound,
people
we're
on that
in
chase. If you open up your GPS, you'll
Past
see them on the
McDonald
south side.
northbound,
We can
right,
actually
little
go on the
big
radio and tell them, let's move this 80 to channel 2. Channel 2 is
Yeah,
available,
yeah,
right?
that's
Yep, it is.
I believe we're sufficient.
But I don't want to do that right now.
Channel 2, popping up.
I think they're doing that on their own.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think they do
typically
that.
they do it on their own. Eventually, but it is also our job to kind of recognize that it's happening earlier and just try to like break in there. By the way, that is how you kind of interrupt comms. If you need to interrupt for whatever reason, even though like it's legit comms, not a 10-3 situation, you just say break, and then you say your bit very quick.
So like there we would say, break those on the 1080, open in channel 2 for you all now. Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
You could be, like I said, you can be casual. I will just say something like break, let's move this 1080 to channel 2. Or break, channel 2 is available for this 1080. And then you'll kind of just see them move on their own.
Now, how do we actually? So we create the channels from. How do we
Just-
create the channels?
So, open up your dispatch first and then open up your radio.
Can I have both? Open?
Yeah, you can. You just gotta open up dispatch first.
See, Oh wait, there we go. It just being.
Turn on your radio and go to channel 3. Like, just type in 3. You just created channel 3 right there.
Ooh.
And now if you close your radio, like turn it off, it goes away.
So the
Because
person
no
who
one's in that
creates the
channel.
controls- So that's what we. So I would stay on channel 1, and then I would use my secondary to open like channel 2 for them to like host it for them essentially.
No, you don't even have to do that. You just tell them to they'll go to the channel themselves. Police can also make channels.
Okay.
So you just say channel 2 is available and you know it's available or it was available because nobody's in there. So like channel 3 is available, channel 4 is available, channel 5 is available. Because
Okay.
those aren't active right now.
Okay, so we just kind of direct them to do it. We don't have to.
Yeah.
But if they ask us to open it, well, I don't see why.
It's kind of more just like flavor on their end because technically they're open all the time.
right.
They just have to go in there. But it's nothing like we have to do. Like we don't have to prep it, you know.
But it's nice to show them that we care and we're looking out for them.
Yes. Yeah, so it's always very good, and especially because on channel 1 we also have EMS. EMS are also on channel 1. And they also get very annoyed and bothered. It's just the way it is, unfortunately. But they get annoyed and bothered hearing turning left on Haywick Avenue, turning right on Power Street, turning left, turning this, northbound, eastbound, northbound, you know.
Constantly, right.
So if we can move them as soon as possible, EMS appreciate that.
Okay, is it best to watch and see if they have a certain number of units on that particular
Yes.
80? Okay.
We want 3 units before we move them over. Otherwise, they're using the primary channel to sort of advertise that, hey, I need help. You can hear me. I'm clearly, giving you my directions. Please meet me here. That's what they're doing, basically.
Fired up on
But make sure when you move them over, it's when they all join together. Let's say somebody says, hey, I'm at the car chase. I'm turning left at, Vespucci. And then somebody on the other side of, like, in Polito says, I'm on my way. you wait until that Polito guy gets to the chase before you move him to channel 2. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if they were like super separate, super far away, cross town, just wait until they all kind of get together and they start Congo lining, and then that's when you move them.
All right.
Unless another 1080 happens, then you can move them over prematurely. Because sometimes that happens. Sometimes the 1080 will break out. They're getting people together, but then another 1080 happens, and it's like, oop, what do we do? You just step in and say, all right, the 1080 for the white Fusillade go to channel 2, and then the new 1080, you stay here until you get 77s.
Okay.
Officers, for the most part, kind of the officers in the city are really good. They're really experienced, so they kind of already know how to navigate this. But it's always nice to help for us to help them out, because they might be focused on driving and not really speaking and leading, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
To them, they're just focusing on not losing the driver. But to EMS, they're just hearing 2 people go northbound, southbound, Haywick, Power, eastbound, southbound, Vespucci, like that. They're done.
Radio check. And 2. Is there a sanctioned corn farm going on in Little Seoul? Corn farm?
What the hell?
Corn farm.
What happened?
The radio, I actually know about
Like
this.
corn.
I'm pretty sure.
What's happening on the radio? What do you know about?
A corn farm in Little Seoul.
The heck if I know.
Oh.
That sounds weird.
Copy that.
Do we need to
I'm
pick
gonna go
up
ahead and
these
post what I see
911
on,
calls, or
Twinsta. You guys can.
So you would
The-
just click the pickup button, and then you'd automatically be connected. But we're going to ignore them and let the officers handle them as well, because we're doing training.
that's just what I was gonna ask? Is the officers get those right? Good.
Yes, they get them as well, and they will answer them if they're not busy in car chases and things like that. Alright, 1043 is somewhat important. Officers will never use them, but we do. 1043 just means information, right? Let's say somebody calls in and it says, hey, the driver of that white Fusillade, his name is Tom Hanks. Then we can make a 1043 that says, the driver of the Fusillade is Tom Hanks. It's just information.
Okay.
So, sometimes you get information like from a 911 call that it isn't really like, I don't want to say, not that it's not relevant, it's just kind of weird. It doesn't correspond to a nice little 10 code. That's when you would use 1043, kind of almost like a catch-all for most things. Like, especially like if the radio's active, like if they're in the radio going, eastbound, westbound, northbound, and you don't want to make them lose their mojo, 1043 a card and just say, hey, the driver's name is this.
Okay, so that's for making a card, right? Not for saying it out loud.
Yeah, just for making a card. If you have information, you don't have to use that format. You don't have to go on the radio and be like, 1043, the driver's name is Tom Hanks. What? Because that is getting slightly ahead of lesson plan, but I'll explain it anyways. If you want to address the police, let's say you get a 911 call, and it is a kidnapping at Maze Bank. You can just say, attention to any of, or you could just say to any available units. There is a report of a kidnapping at Maze Bank. And then you give details if you have it. The suspect is wearing all red, the victim is wearing all green, so on and so forth. But that's kind of how you would start it. To all available units, or if it's something very important, to all units, to PD, or to PD from dispatch, be aware. There is a serial murderer in Vespuccia Beach. Things like that.
All right.
Yeah, I posted the image.
A lot of this you can kind of templatize.
I'm the real
You
N-word.
can make a template out of it, but
Winston, if y'all wanna grab that image and take a look at it for me and tell me what y'all think. Goddamn corn farm.
I don't know how accurate it is, but I'd heard that someone had like permission from the mayor to like
you
plant
should bet we
corn or
talked to
something
Lieutenant
near the
Harold,
gas
he
station,
would
but I
go
don't
and
know
destroy
how
that
accurate that is, and I'm wondering if that's what
Talk
this
to
is
Harold
on the
about
radio
that?
right now.
Yeah,
I have no
because,
idea.
farming shouldn't be done in the city. It's a poor etiquette for the farmers up in Grapeseed there.
I mean, having a personal farm isn't a bad thing, is it? No?
It's on public property. You know, run over it with a tractor or something.
I think we'll let them worry about this one.
Yeah.
in case you don't know, all you gotta do if you're ever down is use your F1 muscle to let locals know. A lot of people don't know this, so they might call 911 and say, hey, my friend is injured at, the gas station. That's a 1047. My friend is down. My friend, tripped on a rock and now he's on the ground writhing in pain. Or he's been shot or whatever. That's a 4 to 7. Injured person is a 4 to 7. A person who's fallen and can't get back up. On the GPS, they'll have a little skull icon. I don't think we have one
I
currently
actually saw
available.
one earlier up north, but I don't know if it's still there. It's near Up and Adam.
Probably got taken.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. That's a 1047. And then we heard 1050 on the radio. That is just a motor vehicle accident. And typically it's always in that format. They'll just be like, oh, vehicle 50'd. They don't say 1050, they just say 50'd. But it's a vehicle accident. It can be, like a car ran into a pole during a police chase or it got flipped over or something, that's a 50. You'll never ever hear it unless it's in a police chase, People are not going to be like, oh, show me 76 to the latest 1050. There's a vehicle accident on the corner of Spanish and Haywick. No one's ever going to say that because in this city, people don't just crash their vehicle and just wait for the others, They kind of just crash, say sorry, and then drive off. No one trades insurance.
Down here in the city. Corn farms in the city.
Record needed, we don't use that one. EMS needed, we do use that one. That's a 52. 52 goes hand in hand with a 4 to 7.
So are you
52 is the ambulance.
Farming in the city?
So you might have a 4 to 7, which is the downed person, but the ambulance is the 52. So what you might hear it say is like, we have a 4 to 7 here in Vinewood Hills, need immediate 52s.
Thank you.
That's typically how the verbiage goes. This is PD to EMS, requesting 52s at Up and Adam.
Alright, so back in a scout.
Did we go over what Wrecker was? I'm sorry. Did I space out?
No,
on that
we'll
one?
skip that one. Wrecker typically is like tow truck driver, but no one ever uses it.
Okay,
Typically, you would use a wrecker, let's say if on the highway there's a big pileup because of a car accident, and you need the wrecker to come, get the car out of the way.
Okay.
But that's not a problem we have in the city. In fact, a lot of people here hate tow, so no one ever uses 51. So 52 is EMS. 60, you see those on our GPS and dispatch all the time. Carjacking. After that, we have 1070. Sometimes these come up. There's two versions, the 1070F and 1070E. If it's an F, it means it's a fire. If it's an E, it's an explosion. Explosion can be from cars, gas tanks, things like that. A fire can be from, fire. We do have an active fire department here in the city. You just gotta ask EMS if they're active. You go into the EMS channel and be like, EMS from dispatch, is the fire department on duty? And they might say yes, they might say no. If yes, then just say we have a 1070F over at, Flower Wheels. Things like that.
Okay. Yeah, I met the captain of the fire department, KB Reed.
Yeah, exactly.
I got a
So
phone
they
number.
deal with... Ooh. So yeah, they deal with 1070Fs and also Es. They deal with 1070s and also they do EMS things because they're also EMS. But yes. 71, you see those on the GPS, shots fired, so you'll never forget that one. You'll see it. Is there any 71s right now? Typically you see them when people are hunting. I guess not right now. 73, shot at bad status, blah, blah, blah. 76, you're going to hear this one the most. If people are on their way to a scene, they are 76. And when they get there, they're 23. Does that make sense right there? So let's say I wanted to go get food. From here, I would be 76 to the food truck. Once I get there, I'm 23 at the food truck.
Makes perfect sense. Absolutely.
So you're going to hear that a lot. Like I said, like the example I always give is, this is 2 Juliet 49. Show me 76 to VPD with 195. I'm just saying I'm on my way to VPD. And the 95, it just means suspect in cuffs.
Okay.
So you'll hear it all the time, show me 76 to the latest 60, show me 76 to the latest, kid 911, show me 76 to this, 76 to that, 76 to the mechanics, blah, blah, blah.
Vehicles are black in color.
Now, the next two ones are the backups. 7 to 7 is when someone's asking for help. Police chases, that's a 7 to 7, and that's normal. We can also go on the radio and say, hey, are there any 77s available for this 1080? We can do that if it's low and we know there's people duty. But yeah, that's what people say. They want 77s. I pulled over this car. Are there any 77s available? Now, 78 is when you're asking for backup, but it's necessary. Like, I need people now because life is in danger. Like, shootouts, things like that. That's a 78's call. That is when you get on the radio and you hit the all channels and be like, 78's requested at, the hospital. Because there's a bomb threat. An active, shooting or something at the hospital. 78's now. Does that make sense? So 77 is backup requested. 78 is backup demanded now. And don't misuse those.
All right.
Because if you put out 78s, people will show up. So make sure it is a 78 situation. And if you don't quite know what a 78 situation is just yet, that is fine. That's what the rest of training is for. It's just so we kind of explain what the calls mean. 1080, pursuit in progress. I think that one's pretty obvious at this point. 90 hasn't quite happened just yet, technically. Robbery in progress. This doesn't just mean like a stick up, like, oh, I got robbed at the corner, corner of the market or whatever. It could also mean bank robbery. So that remains to be seen how the city wants to use it. And then the last important one is suspect in custody, 95. 76 to VPD with 195. And it's not 195, it's just one person, 195. Or it could be 295s because there's two people and they wanted to work together. You never know. Or there might be like, show me 76 to Mount Zona with the 95. There's a bunch of other ones. You can study them if you want to. It's fun little trivia. But they're not super necessary. Like, for instance, let's say there is a fight in progress, a 1010. You can say there's a 1010 at the clothing store, or you could just say, there's two people fighting at the clothing store. We need officers to respond. Now, people are going to understand what you mean. You can use plain speak. Plain speak is allowed.
So for something like the fight in progress, Is that if we believe physical escalation is about to occur, or only after physical escalation does occur?
After it occurs.
Okay.
If it's before, we can use 1015. 1015 is on the other police brevity code, civil disturbance.
Okay.
So if like people are getting riled up and like people called in, it's like, hey, nothing's happened just yet, but something might happen. It's getting really, people are getting really mad at each other. Now that's a disturbance.
Okay, perfect. So like if two people were arguing and someone was kind of making threats, if I wanted to put like a card out for a 1015, like, and on that, like, I would be like something like that would be okay. And then like if it elevated, you would like elevate it to like whatever, like all hypothetically speaking, you know what I mean?
Yeah, all hypothetically. Now the thing is, when it comes to these other police brevity codes, not every officer knows every code. Just like I wouldn't expect us to know every code, And it is fine to keep this little cheat sheet, as it were. It's fine to keep it open while you're doing your work. That's perfectly fine. So if you use 1015, though, don't be surprised if officers don't quite know what that means. Not to say don't use it. You can use it, just kind of explain. Be like, test 10, or be like, call card 1015, civil disturbance at clothing store. Kind of explaining what the code means. Kind of like how 1060 says carjacking in progress.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Because we've had a dispatcher in the past who kind of got, I don't want to say in trouble, but he did annoy a lot of people because he would just use these really niche? He would use these really weird call signs or 10 codes and would not explain what they were.
Oh yeah, it's frustrating.
Mm-hmm. Some of these we'll never, ever, ever use in the city, such as, what's a good one I saw earlier? 1049, traffic light out. No one is, in this city, no one's ever gonna be, there's a 1049.
Off the street.
Never, ever.
10-8.
Like, there is no way to even force that one.
Now that you've said it, there's gonna be some cadet that's just really gung-ho and is gonna be going around, you got a 1045 on a, oh, yep, and there's a 1049 at, like...
See, the thing is, 1045,
I imagine
that one's actually, that one happens.
Oh,
same thing with 1054. Grapeseed, don't forget, we have a PD out in the farms, Grapeseed PD.
And we are on the station there, right?
Yes, we are. So livestock on highway, that happens. Same thing with 45, animal carcasses.
I mean, I've seen them cougars chasing deer straight down the freeway, like, so I mean, I believe it.
So those calls, they could happen. They really could. But some of these will never happen.
What is the clear for net message?
Which call sign is that one again? Or 10 code, my bad?
1067?
That is somebody wants to make an announcement. Is it 1067?
And then the 1065 would be...
Kind of like... Yes. It's like you're ordering, it's like a superior. You're ordering somebody to give it a message.
Okay.
You're 65 to give this message. All right, I'll be 67.
Okay.
So it's
we need the fire brigade.
Like I said, some of these we're never gonna use. But these are taken from others. I don't even want to say other cities, but let's say.
Disregard, it's hopeful.
Yeah, let's say other cities, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, they're inspired. Law.
Yes, inspired by other cities.
Oh, no, we have
maybe these will be overwritten. For instance, I like to use the kidnapping example, but there is no 10 code for kidnapping.
Okay, 10-4, I'll bring the fire truck up there.
Hey, yo, Harold.
Yeah, there definitely should be
Hello.
one for kidnapping.
Hey, man, I
Yes,
got a corn
exactly.
farm down in Little Seoul.
You'll see that DOC, they have their own favorite
Actually,
niche
hold on,
10
DJ.
code, which is 91 transport.
Hey, DJ, this is Lance. I'm coming down there to document it myself. We're going to open up an investigation on any illegal property we find.
89 can sometimes be used, which is bomb threat.
Is it, you said Little Soul? Is that correct?
Ooh,
Yeah, it's gonna be
that's a good police comm right there that we should cover. In police chases, sometimes they will say VCB
Alright, Roger. I heard,
or
rumors of
UTL.
a farm up in Covenant as well. You know anything about that?
VCB means visual contact broken.
Okay.
So it could be something
Alright,
like you're in a
I'm gonna
police
get there next.
chase, you're
I'm just
going
coming to
down the street, they take a left
Copy
turn.
that. See you down here.
That's visual contact broken. Visual contact is broken when you literally can't see it.
If the person owns the property...
But if you turn left and then you see the car straight ahead, okay, visual contact is
Well,
restored.
that's why we're doing the investigation.
But let's say the
this
car
might
turn
be
left,
some
you turn
undiscovered
left,
case law.
the car is still missing.
public
Uh-oh. You start looking around, you literally can't find it, the vehicle again, and you give up. That is UTL, unable to locate.
Hayes down by the beach?
That's easy for me to remember because my brain
Okay.
immediately thinks out
Yeah.
of luck for some reason. Like, nope, it's gone.
Yeah, so if anyone, so UTL is
I'm
the
telling you,
sad
they're gonna do
version
city
of
farming, we're
Code
gonna do
4 in
city
a way. Basically, it's all clear, but it's all clear because they got away.
Oof, okay.
But yeah, that's UTL is basically when they give up. VCB
Alright,
is
you go 08.
I'm not giving up just
23
yet.
illegal
Yeah, I'm
farms,
just
Little
I don't
Soul.
see them right now.
Okay.
Oh, another one that might be used a bit is 25. 25 is report in person. That just means meet with
Black
people.
ass truck.
Can you 25 with me at the
Signs.
VPD cafe?
We're gonna be in front of the red garage.
That's how it would be used. Can you 25 with me? Just means
Yeah,
can you
front
meet
of
with me in
Pulling
person?
over a black ass truck
Okay.
over at the red garage.
Yeah, a lot of these are
77 is the
very
black ass truck?
self-explanatory, it looks like, and
Yeah,
that's
we
pretty
can go ahead
good.
and bring a 77 over.
Roger, I got my photo here. Coming.
Actually, we have 3 women. We're outnumbered.
Other than that, if you guys don't have any
Roger,
questions
76.
about 10 codes, I think that is it. I think we are good here.
And we're allowed to keep our equipment on us, like the radios. And
The radio and MDW, yes. I think, I don't know if you can see previous messages, but there's one from Bishop, Dodge Bishop. He says we can take, he says he takes his radio and MDW, but leaves his flashlight. Flashlights are given to full dispatch members as their tool of self-defense. They don't get guns, but they get flashlights, because mag lights do hurt.
I was going to ask as well, when I was reading through the SOPs, I know the only evidence we're allowed to handle is photographic evidence. Are we allowed access to a camera,
21,
even just
1041,
like a
10-8.
civilian version one? Because I would
Full
be very
dispatches are,
interested in
yes.
that. Okay, wonderful.
Because it could happen sometimes. People come in, they say, hey, I was involved in a hit and run, and I want to, make a report so I can press charges. And it's like, okay, I got my car with me, but I need to take a picture of it. Well, I can take the picture for you. Then you pull out the camera.
No, absolutely, and that is exactly the kind of... I like to be prepared, so...
Yes. But that's once you get full dispatcher.
Absolutely. So
All right.
my question is, are you available for training tonight? Are we allowed to stay on the clock and just listen in and
You can stay on the clock and listen in. Make sure you're busy. You're not 10-7. You're 10-7. You're busy in the app. If anyone asks what you're doing, and they won't say trainee, what are you doing? They'll ask you as dispatch. Just say you are a trainee and you're listening to the radio because you want to learn.
Okay.
That is absolutely fine. Just don't speak up on the radio. That will bring attention to you, and people will assume you are a full dispatch. Because then if they hear on the radio, they're going to be like, dispatch, why haven't you answered this 911?
Right.
Well, it could be because I'm a trainee. I don't quite know how to handle 911s just yet.
Am I allowed to So now we need to stay in government. Now, do I need to stay like in the government buildings if all I'm doing is, you know, listening and everything, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Stay.
No, I just want to make absolutely sure.
I think for trainees, you have to be in a PD building, not even hospital or DMV.
Yeah,
So
I think
PD.
there's
You
a
can be
list of
here.
acceptable buildings
Yeah.
there.
So you can be here, you can be in LSSD, you can be in Grapeseed, you can be over in Mission Row, you can be in Del Perro PD, but PD.
And I need to fully clock out if I'm gonna be leaving, right?
Yeah, if you're leaving, if you're like, okay, I'm done for the day, I'm gonna go hang out with my friends or whatever, or there's an event happening, clock out with Officer Nancy, and then you're just good to go.
Perfect. And then I can always come back and clock back in as long as, you know, and see if I can pair up with somebody and everything. Later on,
Yes.
right?
Like I said, you're looking for Dodge Bishop, Vinnie Mac, and Blake Johnson. Or me.
Okay. Perfect.
I will most likely be available next around this time period on Tuesday.
Okay. So I have like a dinner to go to later tonight, but I was hoping to, so it would be okay for me to clock back in and hang around the department here and just kind of listen and observe, get to know people, and then if I
Yes.
Dispatch, 2 James
okay,
10,
perfect.
1038, code 4.
Like I said, if anyone asks, just say you're a trainee and you're listening into the radio to learn
Dispatch 2
how
goes
police
to
comms
08,
work.
76 to Covenant Street.
Fantastic. I'm
And
excited.
set yourself 10-7.
They're talking to us, but
If they're ever talking to dispatch, they're talking to local dispatch. If they're ever like, dispatch, show me this, this, and that, they're talking to local dispatch.
okay, so I don't know. I gotta watch a professional at work here, and then I'll get a better grasp on you know, how it's done.
Exactly. That's why I do recommend shadowing or not what I recommend. It's why I am saying shadowing is very important for training. So you kind of have a good idea of how things are done. Like right now, I've kind of just talked about 10 codes because otherwise it gets confusing just listening to PD chatter. They'll be saying all of these shorthand, these little codes, and you're just kind of like, huh?
Very
What?
overwhelming. No, it's very
Yes.
good to go through. Now, you're not free to shadow tonight, you said, right?
Unfortunately not. I had I was able to come in for hiring and then to go over this
2 goes
10 codes,
08
basic stuff.
23 Covenant Avenue.
But unfortunately, I do have responsibilities outside the city.
No worries at all.
But yes, as far as like if you wanted to clock off, go to an event or something, then clock back on, just to listen to radio or whatever, that's perfectly fine as well.
If I feel confident to, now I shouldn't be doing anything unless I'm shadowing.
No.
Right? Like, okay.
Exactly.
I just want to make sure, because, all right.
Because it's one thing. I think you can feel confident. You can be like, all right, I've heard enough comms. I've heard how they said certain things. I'm gonna answer this 911, and answering 911 is not that bad. It's pretty easy. But the hard part is, all right, I got the 911 information. Now I gotta tell the PD, and that's the hard part. Just getting on the radio and being like, hey guys, can you respond to this crime? That's the hard part. It honestly is. It's very intimidating.
Okay.
So you might feel like you're ready, but then when it's go time, it's like no time.
See, for me, I'm more worried about making sure it's more like the paperwork that I want to make sure I get right, you know? The getting on the comms, I think I'll be pretty okay at that.
Mm-hmm. Then the next time, either you're with me or if you're with one of the other people approved for training, we can kind of assess that. We can also sort of go through mock things. We'll go on an empty radio channel and just practice actual comms. And not scenario comms, but like actual ones. And then we'll just kind of see how you feel about that.
Okay, perfect. Well, then I'll definitely keep an eye out for when they are available. It was Vinny, Bishop, and yourself, correct?
And Blake.
And Blake.
Blake, I don't know if he'll be on duty later tonight, but typically he does do like late second shift, early third shift.
Route 41 hold me out on an MVA, Alta Street at Howick Avenue.
And we are allowed to listen to the radio while we're off the clock, right? Or should we refrain from doing
You can only listen to the radio if you're on the clock. If you clock off, you can't use the radio.
Accident. Requesting 52
Okay, got it.
Howick Avenue, closest cross of Laguna Place.
He was.
And I'm gonna assume that's the same. Like if I'm not clocked in the MDW and the dispatcher stuff, I won't be able to use, correct?
The dispatcher stuff you can't use. The radio you can't use. The MDW, surprisingly, you can use.
Does it have all the same access?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
So I will repeat it again. Do not give anybody information on the MDW, whatever it is. It can be incident reports, information about that. Don't give that to anybody because that is an actual felony crime.
Right, exactly. They have to have a lawyer request request it, if I remember, and you can give their lawyer the case number, if I remember.
So under the Freedom of Information Act, they can request, as long as they are the ones who the crime is relevant to. So you always ask for their physical ID. So you need to confirm it is them.
Brooklyn Bakers is open at
You
City
can
Hall.
give them the lead officer and the report number. That's it.
How important is it for me to?
So if somebody's like, I was arrested by an officer, but I want to sue
got one out
them,
too, I believe.
you get their ID, you confirm it is them, you check the report to make sure it is, they were the person who was arrested.
Yeah, I'll.
And then you just give them the number and the arresting officer. And that's
We
it.
also
Can't be
make sure
saying
that
this
we
over the
inform them
radio.
that, it is not going to be.
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
But
Yes.
it, like right, it's
So yeah, the way the whole
Valid,
process
though,
works, from start to finish, let's say bad person does crime, wants to sue, they will ask us for FOIA details, which is only the report number and the arresting officer. They tell this to their lawyer. The lawyer puts in the formal FOIA request. And then from there, the DA's office or the judge's office will go to that officer and be like, hey, you got a FOIA request. They want you to share this report to the lawyer and the victim. You have 3 days to do this. If not, we will automatically do it ourselves, but you please do it in case you wanted to fix the report or whatever. And that's it. Because we have, if you actually, let's go ahead, I'll give you an example. If you look into your MDW, go under civilian reports, and then go into mine, which is Frank Barbarino, missing persons report for Gator Moretti. Let me know once you're there in that report.
yes.
If you scroll all the way down on the left column, you'll see shared with. That's where you kind of pick who gets to see that report, even if they don't have police access.
And I'm going to assume that that would just be by state ID if I were to.
You can, so if you hover over that box that says shared with, you'll see that there's 3 little dots at the right end of that box. You can click it to add person to share with. And then that is just a profile search. That can be through phone number, that can be state ID, that can be by name.
That's very handy. Okay, that is good to know.
But that's more or less the process of how a FOIA request works. That is how you share with the public so they can see the report. But if people come in saying, hey, I think my friend was arrested, is he, in the cells down there? That is not information you can give either.
Subject released on scene tonight.
Because we don't want to say, yes, someone is down there, and then they try their best to do a breakout attempt.
Right, exactly.
So, like I said, this is the gift of the gab sort of thing where you just try to talk your way down or out of it. De-escalation, but yes. By the way, you are allowed to lie. You know, if people come in, they try to take you hostage for whatever, and they try to force you to do something, you can just lie and say, hey, I'm a trainee. They don't give me access to that.
Right, exactly.
You know, you can try your best. But still, you know, but also at the end of the day, we do not want any of our staff to get harmed. So you just do what you feel you can get away with, all right? But ultimately, we want you to be safe.
Absolutely.
But we don't want you to die for, you know, information.
Oh, I did have one more question about the dispatching stuff here. So I see them pop up sometimes to open the conversation. What does that do? Because I don't want. I was curious, but I didn't want to like accidentally like get on a call or like something like that. You know what I mean?
What you mean? You saw it on the call card?
Yeah, on the call cards, there's been a few things where there's been an option to.
Oh, I know what you mean now. A lot of people don't know this. You can actually text 911 and 311.
That's what it is. Okay.
So if people text it, you can just open the conversation and it opens it on your phone. And you can kind of just read the text message and reply there. And if anyone else replies, you can also see how they replied as well.
Okay.
And it's okay if you want to look at it too. Just because you open it doesn't mean you're connected. You literally can leave them on read. On red.
Okay, perfect.
Cindy, got a 911 call. Apparently there's a injured person.
It's only the calls where you connect or accept or whatever. That's when you're actually pulled together and you're forced to talk with them.
Do 76 as soon as we can. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions?
I think that covers it for me. I think.
I don't have any other questions. I just gotta see it to understand it. You know, I gotta see someone do this stuff.
Farrah, when did you say your schedule was? I'm sorry, it's been 4 recent hires, so I'm kind of confused with everybody's schedule right now.
Hey, nice work on
What
that
was your
38.
main time period you were awake?
Thanks, ma'am.
Well, I can really be awake at any time, but 5 p.m. to past midnight hours.
You are probably gonna get more response around the morning time. From Dodge Bishop, Vinnie Mac. They're pretty reliable for getting on duty, but they are definitely before 5 p.m. Maybe Vinnie Mac might be more your speed. He's more like 1 p.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay.
If you can get up just a little bit earlier.
I can come around for, you know, the early times for however long it takes to be trained or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then whenever I'm on my own, I could work those night owl hours.
Yes, exactly.
That sounds fine.
Alright, good deal then. Yeah, because Dodge Bishop, Vinnie Mac, they're shift 1 to 2. They're the most reliable, unfortunately. I'm just not reliable at this moment. But I do gotta get going.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I might just explore a little bit and then go head to this dinner and then and it is okay for us to come and clock on as we please to like observe as long as we we don't take any calls unless we're shadowing anyone.
As long as you don't take any calls while you're shadowing and you stay inside a PD building. Because I do have eyes and ears everywhere. I don't want to get screenshots of on the GPS of you kind of in the middle of Vinewood Hills or up in that hanging out or the lawn of City Hall, things like that.
And it's floor -1 that Miss Nancy is on, right? Or
no, Nancy is on floor
Nancy's
1.
right. She's right downstairs, right?
She's literally downstairs on the first entrance.
Okay, perfect.
Can I have 52s
Well,
on
I think I'm just
Boulevard
gonna
Del Perro
explore a little
and
bit then, if that is
Thunder?
all right.
Got one.
That's all right. And just so you guys know, you already do have your access to business class tickets. That has already happened. So, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Denton.
Yeah, have a good night.
You as well.
It was nice meeting you.
It was nice meeting you as well. What was
Maribel,
your name?
or
Maribel.
just Belle.
Okay.
EMS
Belle.
from PD.
That's easier. My
Someone
name's
got
Farrah.
bit by a dog on
I love that name.
Medical attendant.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to this. Have you done work like this before?
Do we have any?
Well, just taxi dispatch, but that's
police
different.
unit.
It's almost, nothing all day.
This seems like it's gonna be pretty exciting. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, it's a lot of information to take in at once.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to being able to shadow somebody.
Yeah, that's really what I need as well.
Vinny is really great. He was one of the first people that I spoke to him for like an hour when I was waiting for my first interview. He was really great.
Yeah, I met Blake Johnson at the job fair at 4 a.m. He seemed like one of the only normal people I could find at the whole job fair. So that's good.
Yeah, I think it was Mr. Tommy was his name, was who I talked to, and then Wesley there at the job fair. Pretty much every other booth was giving me the cold shoulder. It felt like when I went to go and get information, but I never expected to do dispatch. But I think it's right up my alley, honestly.
That's almost exactly what I felt. I talked to DOC. There was like 5 or 6 of them. Most of them wouldn't say a word. It was very strange. And then I talked to EMS. There was the captain of the fire department there, and they were also a little strange. They said they almost violently attacked someone today. Well, that day. I found that to be awkward. Anyway.
You know what? I think the universe just put us where we're meant to be.
Probably. And I was in line to be PD, but personally I wanted the experience before I actually tried to interview for that, and everybody else didn't seem to feel that way. They even encouraged me to not feel that way, and I was like, that's weird, I'd rather have the long way. And when I got here, Mr. Denton even said people come here trying to get into PD faster, which was strange to me because I thought I was taking the long way.
Yeah, some people I guess think it's like yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Because I know my ultimate goals are a little different than this too. I originally was thinking I was gonna work at the DMV, but like I said, it just felt like they were not interested, so.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. The people at the dispatch seem like the most relatable. So that's why I'm here.
I'm really excited. I met Rune the other night. It looks like he got hired on as he was really nice. I think I'm just looking forward. This is my first job I've actually ever had. So I'm very excited. Sorry if I'm being a little, annoying and too upbeat about it.
Oh, no, that's okay. I was here with another guy. This guy in the group text asking for Denton. His name's Thatcher. If you ever meet this guy and you manage to understand almost anything he's saying, then I think you'll survive in this job, because I don't know, I spoke with him for hours the other day. He was a taxi dispatcher, but he's very, very difficult to understand.
Alright, well, it'll be a challenge.
Yeah, I mean, he's a nice guy, a little strange. Good lord.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, there's no way you won't know him when you meet him. Just be ready.
Well, I appreciate the heads up. I'm looking forward to meeting everybody.
Personally, I think I'm gonna try to clock out here. I guess I'll just try to come around early,
Yeah, I think I'll just keep an eye out to see when people are here, and I'm probably gonna come in and out and just listen to the radio from time to time, and just kind of listen to how the law operate with each other, right? Get a feel like that'll make it easier to communicate with them once I'm allowed to actually start talking on the radio, right?
Yeah. Personally, I knew handful of these 10 codes already. But
It's nice to have that sheet there.
that is nice. But for me, it's like, I'm not sure still, when is it necessary for me to make a card or to make a radio call? You know, it's like I don't really know which, you know, if someone calls 911, am I supposed to make a card or a call over the radio or both? I mean, I don't know. That wasn't answered, so that's what I want to find out.
It depends on, like, the situation, I think, right? So, like, if someone calls, like, oh, someone's breaking into, like, a car in front of me or something, right? Like, you would make, like, a 1038 car, or not, whatever the hell it is, right? The one for that, and then, like, as long as it's not more urgent than, like, if the radio is silent, then you would, like, be like, there's a blah 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 whatever or something, right? But I think it's about priority, like managing the priority and urgency of things on whether or not you make a call. That's kind of how Vinny explained it to me the other day.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to, like, see them in action.
Exactly, or just, you know, ideally I'd like them to see something, you know, come through and then them tell me, hey, do this. You know, because this happened, you do this. And then in the future when that happens, you now know that that's what you're supposed to do.
Exactly. I think we'll get a lot of good training once we get some people here. So for now, I think I'll get myself some food and maybe explore the building a little bit.
Well, all right, Miss Bell. It was nice meeting you. I'm sure we'll see each other again.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to working with you.
And you, anyway, you have a nice night.
You as well.
How you doing, Oops? Damn fool, I got heartburn from my banana burger. Whatever.
How is it so bright? Good lord. Oh. Okay.
Then back out onto Strawberry. Northbound. Alright, if you're here and attached, let's go and swap up to channel 2 or eastbound on Vespucci.
And for him.
L2.
Last song was A1. I'm not sure when you said that, but this is just my like waiting room music playlist. Okay. Guess I kind of just have to sign out. Unless someone's coming around. Nope. It's only us, trainees. Do I actually have access to... No, I got no idea. Just sign off. I want to collect all the payphone numbers. I feel like it'd be good to have that somewhere. Well, damn, I got the job. Took a long-ass time, but hey. Now I just gotta do this training program and... I don't know. Be a dispatcher for a few months. Payphone collectathon, I would kill a few hours. Oh yeah, there's a lot. Plus, it's like if someone calls you nefariously, you could just have their exact location and they wouldn't know. If you just name the number in your phone, like where the phone is. They could be threatening you from a payphone and you can just go there, see who they are. And then there you go. I don't know what you do after that, but you could do that. In fact, I probably will do that. I don't know if... I guess now is an okay time. I don't know. What the hell even is this place? The Gemini Tow Company. Okay. Wait, I gotta call my own phone. What the hell? Does it just, list me as a dispatcher, whether I'm on duty or not? Maybe. Okay. I feel like this will be way too many contacts, though. Okay, whatever. I'm already feeling the monotony of this task. Plus, but what if I just don't even find them all? Put on my mysterious music. Wow, 2 payphones. At this rate, I should be done in I don't know, 7 days. Maybe more. Also, I need a system to, make sure I clear every area properly. I'm gonna need to draw up some maps for this. Regions, clear them one by one, you know, divide up this work. I can't just drive around aimlessly. What the hell? I think those were police that just killed this person. Are you okay? Oh God. They do not look okay. Found dirty cops already. What kind of car were they driving? Looked weird. It's like steel blue, no lights. What the hell is that? I'm going undercover. Private investigator mode. You know, to be honest, it makes me look more suspicious, but whatever. Good Lord, what was that? Hey, what 10 code is that? Hold on. 1070E. Explosion. 1070. Fire or explosion. Dispatcher by night, vigilante by day. Well, a private investigator, it just watches. They don't actually really act. Or they're not supposed to. I guess, you know, in Sherlock Holmes time, maybe, but... You know, vigilantism didn't matter as much then. It was, you know... less regulated. A mystery solving outfit, I'll put it that way. I'm not gonna attack anyone. Because if I do get a felony, I think I just lose my job straight up. Also, I passed the bank. Also, this song is way louder than the last one. Why was it loud? I don't know. These are the clothes I wear when I'm investigating phone booth numbers. I don't know. It ain't that serious, really. I honestly think I'm drawing more attention to myself wearing this. I guess nobody really knows me anyway. I only know dispatch and this lead dispatch guy. Have to memorize it. It's not really letting me copy. God. Oh, there we go. was here. I need to look a little more normal if I'm just going to the bank. Those other clothes are for driving around and talking to no one. I guess. Prostitutes. Ugh. Reminds me of my sister. Skanky little hoe bag. Awful woman. God, it's bright in here. $4.65. I think that's like 2 hours of taxi dispatch and 2 hours of actual dispatch. I don't know. I got no idea. Tow truck driver. They got a bad rap around this city. Everybody talks shit about them all the time. Driving around doesn't feel as safe anymore. Given I had direct access to a crime feed. And there was literally multiple crimes per minute. Shocking. Very disturbing. What's going on over there? Everywhere I feel so sinister. I think it's because I work for the government now. Feels like I'm against the world. Home sweet home. Maybe I'll watch some Law and Order, read up on these, dispatcher SOPs. Then I'll draw up some maps of the city. Then I'll go to bed. Farrah's officially a government worker. Take that, Irene. Fuck you. I hope you rot in hell wherever the hell you are. I'm the better sister, okay? I'm the better twin. I'm the good-hearted, red-blooded American. And you're just a psychotic bitch, alright? And fuck you for causing me to get addicted to nicotine. Through your secondhand smoke. Whatever. I work for the government now. Okay. That's that stream. We might have to not be the professor tomorrow. It sounds like maybe for the next couple weeks we have to get on Farrah early in the day and get training. And then go back to doing professor stuff when we're allowed to be on our own. There you go. Interview 3 complete. And we have the job. Goodbye for now. I'll check the government list tomorrow, see if there are any of these people. If there are none of these people, I will go on the professor. If there are any of these people, I will not. If there are these people and I go on Farrah and they tell me, oh, we already have someone we're training, then I guess I'm fucked and I'll go back on the professor. I don't know. But anyway, thank you for stopping by, whoever did. If you're a VOD watcher, I appreciate you. More than the others. I'm a VOD watcher of other people. You know, I like a good VOD. I like that I can, control time. But whatever. I'll see you guys next time. Farrah Maiden out. Dispatcher. Foxtrot 29. Going 1042.